Next we have here is, as I mentioned, you'd be surprised who's the main supplier of batteries worldwide. It is a Chinese company which has produced more billionaires than Google or Facebook, which is kind of surprising when seeing this article. And according to Forbes.com, the Chinese maker of batteries and electric vehicles has now more billionaires in the Forbes list compared to other publicly held companies. So they have a staggering 9 billionaires with fortunes of 1 billion or more, uh, owing to the company that have stakes in CATL or contemporary empirics technology here. So what's this company do? What do they do? What's their primary business? So as I mentioned, they supply batteries to big automakers, including you have BMW, you have Volkswagen, you have Daimler, Mercedes Benz, just to name a few. And obviously, in terms of electric vehicles, it has significantly increased in terms of demand, so boosting their production, their products into an all-time high, making the chairman and founder of the company, 52-year-old Robin Zhang, is now considered one of the richest, 47th richest person in the world, in the north of $32.5 billion. So you also have other executives in the company who have benefited from this uh, big growth of the company here. So let's see here. So you also have other executives, namely the co-vice chairs. You have Wang Jilin and Li Ping. So let's see, where is it? Yeah, here. So you have co-vice chairs. That's net worth around 14.7 billion and 6.7 billion respectively. Then you also have early investors Pei Zhenhua, who purchased a stake way back in 2015 and is estimated to have a net worth of 8.5 billion. You also have Zhao Fenggang, worth 2.4 billion, Wu Kai 2.3 billion, Wu Yingming 1.9 billion, Chen Gongxiang 1.8 billion, and Chen Yuntai 1.3 billion. And what's interesting here, 4 of the 5 people mentioned here hold various management roles in the company here, which is, you know, it's a big windfall for for those players, right? And what's interesting here, eight billionaires, each from the tech giant Google and Facebook, and as well as Walmart here. So let's take a closer look here. So you can see the companies that has more or the most billionaires here. So you have Google, Facebook, Walmart, all having at least 8 billionaires, while CATL has 9. So, despite a Chinese company, they are able to produce more billionaires than most companies are able to provide here. Anyway, so how was CATL able to achieve so much success, being billionaires and whatnot? So the key factor here is CATL enjoyed a helping hand from their government. Meaning, way back in 2015, the Chinese government maintained a list of recommended battery supplies, which included more than 50 domestic firms. And those firms that you mentioned has to be locally sourced. So, meaning foreign companies like LG and Samsung's Korean companies are excluded here. So, this gives local companies like CATL a big windfall. So, they are recommended and they'll be utilized now. BMW, Mercedes are manufacturing in China, so it makes sense for them to supply, to have a supply chain that's near within the area here. So obviously they have tremendously benefited from that situation, and they have now become the world's largest automotive and electric vehicle market. And the company is aggressively expanding its manufacturing and research and development capabilities. What's interesting here is way back in 2018, all new passenger electric vehicles are sold worldwide, and they are supplying those market. 13% of the total battery capacity was supplied by the company. And what's interesting, in 2020, last year, that has jumped more than 9% to 22% in the market. So meaning they made significant inroads in that marketplace. Now, Obviously, it's still behind the leader in battery supply, which is LG Energy Solution, which has a market share of 28% so far. And what's interesting, a big partnership with the company and Tesla, since Tesla is opened gigafactory in Shanghai in early 2020. They have now become their main supplier for batteries. So it's another big windfall for the company. And according to CTL representative, they mentioned in the long term, the company will keep targeting the goal of realizing fossil fuel replacement in stationary and mobile energy systems with highly efficient electrical power systems that are generated through advanced batteries and renewable energy. So question here is, will it continue their windfall in terms of generating more and more batteries and generate more revenue for the company? Well, based on the trend, that's what's happening right now, right? Left and right major car manufacturers have been shifting their production, not just in standard combustible engine. They're now focusing on electric powered vehicles. Now, how fast is the adoption? One has to wait and see, because as mentioned, I think the key contention of electric vehicles, for all its benefit, there's still a lot of downside, especially I think we discussed it last time regarding the adoption of people of using EV. Some have reverted back to using fuel powered engine because the mileage is very minimal compared to fuel powered engine, and the time it takes for you to refuel, obviously when you go to a gas station, just takes a few minutes, pump the gas into your car, then you can move after a few minutes. But in terms of charging your electric vehicle, that's going to take hours or sometimes even overnight, depending on the where you get your power supply. So that's going to be a problematic issue. What I'm interested in the technology advance in vehicle is the AI capability. I mean, self-driving vehicle. I'm more interested in that, whether you adopt it for regular combustible engine or you apply it in electric vehicles. Does that matter, right? So people can choose whether they want fuel powered or electric powered for their vehicle here.